Welcome back, people, to the QGIS course. Professor Piyush here. We are continuing the vector data classification chapter, where we are using different methods to classify the vector data from the attribute table or the attribute data values in various ways in the map to represent. If you look closely here, previously on my layer panel, in the previous video, we have discussed and I have shared the method how can we classify the land use using the color code like this, which you can see in the map, all my land uses based on the areas they are designated of the certain use. They have been shown in the map. So this kind of classification is known as nominal classification, where we are just denoting the usage of the land by using colors. There is no order, no hierarchy. We are not going into the details of the areas or the length or the size of the spaces. We are just denoting the usage of this land. Further, moving ahead, I will show you in this video how can we use the ratio or the area of these particular land use or any other fields in this map. Let's say buildings with areas. We can take buildings, and based on the area of the buildings, we need to classify the map. So consider it this way: the larger the area of the building, more darker the color should be, and the smaller the area of the building, the lighter the color should be. Color gradients or color maps or different ways that we can choose, that is totally up to us how we're going to represent. I'm going to demonstrate all those things in this video. So let's move ahead and start doing it. First thing is, I've already shown in the previous video how to save this style which we have created, the classification style, so that later on also if you want to use it to some other maps and all, you can easily do that. Or you want to see different styles at one place, so you can load and reload and play with it. You don't have to do the process again and again. So this is already saved. So what I will do, I will go to the Symbology here. So this, I'm sure now from now, if you are already learning with me from the beginning, which by the way you can get through the playlist from the video description, you can download the playlist and start learning from the beginning if you have just started. And the exercise data, the maps which you are seeing here already has been shared in the description as well. You can download from the drive. If you are learning from the beginning, you must be knowing how to bring this layer styling panel. You can go here and bring it, or you can double click to the properties and all. So I don't need to repeat that again and again. So I'm in the Symbology here, and it is the value here is categorized. So I will just make it default to single symbol, so that I'm back with my land use layer, a single representation. Now I will go to the properties by double clicking, and so I'll go down to the style here, rollout, and I will add another layer. I will add another style here, right? And we'll name it ratio, let's say, because we are doing the ratio classification, or you can name it something else, doesn't matter. I will click it, and if you go down again, you can see the ratio is the current layer. So whatever we do in this style, so whatever changes and whatever classification we do in this style will be saved here automatically. Once you are done with that, you can again save the current style that I will show you once we are done, right? You can apply this for now and click OK. So before going further, there's one issue. If you check the attribute data table of the land use, so previously we classified based on the land use, like type of the land. But as I said in this video, I'm going to show you how to classify based on the area or the size of that particular land, right? So let's say reservoir is a particular size and industrial is a particular size. So based on the size, how can we identify? But if you see, if I scroll it horizontally using this bar, there is no size or area field here at the top, right? All these things, nothing is there. I can't find anything. So we need to create this. So to do editing in attribute data table, previous videos also I have discussed, you need to on the toggle editing mode, or you need to go into that mode. So you can either type Ctrl+E, or you can just directly click this pencil button here. And now we're in the editing mode. So we can add or edit the data here accordingly. So here what you need to do is just go on the top menu bars. They are small icons, but I will show you which to use. You need to find the button to add the new field. So it is somewhere here at the top. Yeah, it's here, new field, or you can just type Control plus W. So when I do that, you can see in this window dialog, I can type the name, comment and all, but currently I will just type the name as area field because we are going to put the values for the area, and click OK. Now if you scroll, you can see I have the area field here now, but one more issue is there are no values. So we need to find the values also. Sorry about this, guys. I will do that again. There was some error in the file loading, so I've created a new file. Let me just open the land use and open the attribute table to add that new field which I was talking about, because as we are classifying based on the area, so we need to add a new field. You have to toggle the editing mode, right? When you are in the editing mode, currently you can see there is no area field, so I will go to the new field button and type area this time, and make sure the type here shouldn't be this binary object. It should be decimal double, right? And rest all you can keep the same and click OK. Now if you go back, you can see the area field is there, but the values are null. So again, the same thing, you go to open field calculator to calculate the area values, click it. You need to update the existing field as we have already created the field, so we don't need to go to create a new field. I will click this under expression bar. Make sure you go to geometry, and select this area, or double click this first and make sure it is reflecting in the query panel here, and then you can click. Oh, one more thing, I will just delete this. You need to go to the rollout here and select the area. Don't forget this, right? Then you double click it. It's here in the query bar. Now you can click OK, and straight away you will see our values are reflecting based on the areas. Beautiful, right? So now we have values. What to do now? I will close this. And one more thing, you can see here still a pencil symbol is showing me. That means I haven't saved the attribute data table. So go back and make sure you save it, right? You can use this save button, save edits, so that it is saved, and then you need to get out of the editing mode, then close it. Now that symbol is gone. Okay, now we have values. We can now classify the data. We'll do the same as we did for the nominal classification based on the land use areas. So I will bring again the layering style table. We'll go to Symbology and make sure my land use is selected. And under single symbol, instead of single symbol this time, previously we used categorized, if you remember. This time I'll go to graduated, right? And under graduated, if you scroll down the values, now you can see the area value is reflecting. When you select this, and another thing is you have a option to set the color ramp, right? I will stretch it so that I can see. There are different presets which you can use. There are more presets which you can use, or you can create your own color ramp. Just for the demo basis, I will just give you an example of reds, let's say, right? And your mode should be equal count, right? The classes values, I will show you how it distributes, right? So you can see here precision and the legend format, %1 to %2, all these things I will explain to you how it affects. You can also play with it. If you're not clear here, let me open the properties and show you there in detail. So I will off this. Wait, I will close this first. I will open the properties again and keep it in the side. And okay, sorry, I will bring the map here so that you can see what's happening, because when I bring like this, I can't go into the map. Okay, so your mode is equal count and everything is set. I've chosen the color ramp also. If you want, you can choose some other vibrant colors. We will see that how it works. Okay, let's classify the value. When you classify, you can see automatically the values are segregated based on the area which we have, the values which we have. Now you can apply these values, right? And when you click OK, you can see how the land use is segregated. This whole brown patch, if you can see, it denotes larger areas, right? And then we go to the reddish, which is somewhere here, and then little orange. You can see select feature. It is selecting the feature here. If you go and select feature, it will select that features, right? You can use this to map and see which features are selected, right? So you can see these smaller areas, lighter colors. So this is one way to segregate your data. Now I will show you what are the purposes of different values here, which I was talking about. Let's say I put down 10 classes here, right? So if I go to 10 classes, I will get more color distribution, right? And if I classify and apply, you can see my map has changed from previous. You can do more classifications as you want, right? You can use the different legend format also to make the segregation more detailed. It totally depends on what basis you are working on. Let's say I make it to 20 and see what happens. You can see I get more gradient. Okay, and one more thing, let's see, you will use different gradients and see what happens. Like let's say I go for turbo and apply. So this land use is not changing because it is totally one single land use, right? That's why it's not changing. And these are segregated separately, so you can see different color codes here, right? This is one of the classification, guys. You can use it in your maps. If you have area values, you can define your land use. Same thing you can do with the buildings also. I will invite you to do an exercise using the same technique, because if you go to attribute table of the buildings, I think there are no values, but yes, what you can do is the data set will be there. You can just create a separate area base as you did for the land use. You can do the same here, right? And then based on those values, you can segregate your building based on areas, right? You can color code it to get a better results, and your map will reflect more. So land use was a larger picture, so you can't see much differences, but when you go to a building level, you will see a lot of differences. You can see the huge building print and with different sizes. So I will invite you to do it on your own, try it in the building and see what happens. So that was almost all about the ratio type of classification. In the next video, we will discuss another type of classification which is more advanced. So if you remember, in the nominal classification, we only had one option where we just, we can use just colors and define the areas. Then we got another level where we calculate the areas, and then based on that area, we define the color codes and all. But in this next rule-based classification, we can actually create our own rule and classification in this. So for example, let's say I want to highlight this particular city in a different color code manner in the whole map from the other areas, and I want to keep the land use as it is, right? I don't want to do change in that, or I don't want to create a separate layer for this. So I can use rule-based classification, which will give me a separate color layers or separate symbol or anything. I can add another hatch or texture to this particular area only, which will emphasize and highlight this city than the other areas of the map, right? So that will help us. And there are so many other applications of the rule-based classification. So we'll explore those and we will do some exercises in the next video. See you there.